When next the thought of fornication crosses your mind, look back at the story of Ugo and ask yourself if you truly want to embark on that journey. Lagos is a big city like no other. It's a place where dreams can be made or shattered overnight. Ugo was just a regular man that moved from his village to Lagos in search of greener pastures. Luckily for him, things went well just as planned. He landed a great job, built a happy family, and was living comfortably. But one decision changed everything for him. Everything he stood for would crumble right in his face. One day, Ugo was on his way back from work when his phone rang, and it was Amaka. Her voice sounded really nice and charming, and she was like,
"Hi love, can you come over tonight? The house is really empty and I miss you so much."
Ugo couldn't resist the invite even though he knew how risky it was. Ugo was like,
"I miss you too, babe. But are you sure this is a good idea? Or we could just meet elsewhere."
And Amaka was like,
"Nah babe, I'll be in the shower as soon as I drop the call. My body will be wet and cold and will require your warmth. What would you say about that?"
And without a second thought, Ugo gave in. It was like,
"I'll be right there before you know it."
Ugo got into his car and drove down to Amaka's house. Now, Amaka was not just any woman. She was the wife of Chief Olumide, one of the most influential men in Lagos, who in fact also happens to be Ugo's boss. Yes, he's been having a secret affair with his boss's wife. Their relationship had been well kept secret for months. As Ugo drove down to Amaka's place, he was so happy he would be spending time with Amaka. But a part of him also felt sorry for his wife, Stella. Stella was his childhood sweetheart who he ended up marrying. But his new addiction caused a rift between them. When he got to Amaka's house, everywhere seemed quiet than usual, indicating nobody was home. Just like Amaka told him earlier, Amaka had instructed her home staffs to go on few days break, and her husband was out on a work trip, which means they had enough privacy. The two lovebirds enjoyed their time together. They moved from the living room to Amaka's bedroom, all cuddled up, and this time, they got in the moment and were about to make love when they heard a loud bang at the door. But before they could respond, they were already surrounded by armed and hefty-looking men. They were Chief Olumide's men. Ugo felt something like a blow on his face. He was knocked out and whisked away. They dragged him from the room to their van and drove off. At this point, Ugo was very helpless. He started reminiscing about his life and how he got here. He remembered his wife Stella, the woman he had once loved more than anything. He remembered how he had started working for Chief Olumide, managing Chief's various projects, and how proud he had always been of his success. Until Chief Olumide became really busy with his political career, that it constantly required him to travel for a long period of time, leaving his wife, Amaka, mostly alone. During those times, Amaka felt lonely and needed to fill up the space of her husband. So, she moved to Ugo, who seemed to be the next available man, handsome and youthful. But Ugo had declined her advances at first. He was married, and more than that, he respected Chief Olumide. But as time went by, one thing led to another. And before long, Ugo and Amaka were having a full-blown affair. Ugo started spending more time with Amaka than he spent with his own family. Amaka, on the other hand, was sponsoring Ugo's lifestyle, pampered him with material things, and even got him an apartment where they mostly met. Their affair was eating until it got out of control. His wife Stella started noticing changes in him. He was barely at home, paid less attention to her and her needs. He was always claiming to be going on one business trip or the other. Rumors started flying until she eventually found out about her husband and Amaka. This got her really angry and sad. So, she called Amaka and warned her of her husband. But Amaka denied all the allegations. But that couldn't shake Ugo and Amaka's affair. This time, Stella decided to make things really bad for Ugo and Amaka. She contacted Chief Olumide and told him everything. Surprisingly, Chief Olumide handled the matter calmly. When he got back from his trip, he invited Ugo and his wife for a meetup. They had an extensive conversation and an agreement. Ugo and Amaka apologized and promised the relationship was over. But they lied. The relationship continued, and this time even worse. They did it openly and it became the talk of Lagos. Due to this, Ugo's wife was embarrassed and had to move out of the house. Ugo also stopped working with Chief Olumide. He opened his own business with the help of Amaka. Well, Chief Olumide didn't let it slide. He constantly threatened Ugo to stay away from Amaka, but he didn't listen. That day, after being beaten by Chief Olumide's guys, Ugo was released. 2 weeks down the line, he was unalived. His lifeless body was found in an uncompleted building. Ugo's death raised a lot of questions. Some said that Ugo's demise had been orchestrated as a punishment by a powerful man. Others said that his wife should be questioned. As for Amaka, Chief Olumide sent her packing and froze all her accounts. He's said to believe that Amaka is now a roadside corn seller in Lagos. But the question still remains, who do you think unalived Ugo? Could it truly be Chief Olumide? Or his wife, Stella, because she never truly got justice?